Imagine a world where the most uh, unexpected bond forms between this quiet, almost monastic professional killer. I mean, his best friend is literally a houseplant.
Right.
And then you have this fiercely independent 12-year-old girl who's just consumed by this thirst for vengeance.
Yeah, it's quite the setup.
It really is. And this isn't just, a thrilling action movie. It's a profound, sometimes pretty unsettling exploration of connection, loss, and these really unlikely, tough paths to redemption. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a stack of material, really dig into it, and unearth the most compelling insights. We want to help you get truly well-informed on a topic and fast.
And today we are plunging deep into the meticulously crafted, often darkly beautiful world of Luc Besson's 1994 cult classic, Léon, the Professional.
That's right. Our journey is going to draw heavily from some great source material, particularly excerpts from Léon, the Professional, A Tale of Redemption. This is going to let us unpack the really intricate storytelling, those unforgettable characters, and the powerful kind of universal themes that honestly still resonate with people decades later.
Absolutely. Decades.
So get ready. We're going to explore how a story that's so steeped in, frankly, brutal violence can also show these really surprising moments of tenderness.
And how two profoundly broken individuals find this unexpected solace, this meaning in each other.
Yeah, and what it truly means to break free from a destructive cycle like revenge. So, okay, with that introduction to Léon and Mathilda's fractured worlds, the stage is pretty much set for this explosive collision that just changes their lives forever. Let's really unpack this.
Let's do it. The setup lives in parallel and colliding worlds.
Okay, so our deep dive really begins, I think, fittingly with Léon. He's this character brought to life by Reno, right, with this masterful mix of, like, stoicism, but also this underlying sadness almost.
Pathos, yeah.
Our sources describe him simply as a cleaner, a professional hitman. He does these precise, brutal jobs for an Italian mobster, Tony. But what immediately strikes you about Léon, even before all the chaos really kicks off, is his incredibly disciplined, almost ascetic life. Like a monk, almost.
It's very ritualistic.
Yeah, he moves to the world like a ghost. The sources say emotionless and silent, yet he has these deeply specific, almost childlike passions and rituals. It seems totally at odds with his job, doesn't it?
Completely.
I keep coming back to Leon's routines. They feel so ritualistic, like you said, just so strange for a hitman. What do our sources tell us about why he lives like this?
Well, it's precisely that deliberate contrast, that kind of jarring juxtaposition you mentioned that's so fundamental to understanding Léon.
Okay.
On one hand, you have this guy whose whole existence is based on precise and brutal hits. It's a job that demands, cold detachment, absolute focus, suppressing empathy completely.
Right, you'd have to.
Yeah. But then, on the other hand, his private world is so meticulously curated. It's defined by these remarkably simple comforts that are just such a stark counterpoint to the violence he deals out.
Like the plant.
Exactly. Our source material really emphasizes his almost ritualistic care for his plant, which he calls his best friend. And it's not just like a casual hobby, right?
Yeah.
He cleans the leaves, gives it sun, talks to it. He nurtures it with this tenderness you'd normally see for like a pet or even a kid.
And the milk.
And the milk, which is often, a symbol of innocence, purity. And he watches old Hollywood musicals. Maybe he's looking for a simpler, more straightforward story than the profoundly morally compromised one he's living.
In his gate?
Maybe. This dichotomy, this split, it immediately tells you, the audience, that Léon is not your typical one-dimensional bad guy or just a hitman caricature. These small humanizing details are absolutely critical. They hint at this underlying humanity. Maybe something long buried. He's a man who, despite his job and the darkness, is trying to cultivate some semblance of normalcy or comfort or even purity in this world of deep moral ambiguity.
So the isolation, is that a choice? Or is it forced on him by the job?
Probably a bit of both, I think. He's chosen it or maybe been forced into it. Isolation is likely a survival mechanism in his incredibly dangerous line of work.
Sure. Keep people away.
Exactly. But that very isolation leaves him profoundly emotionally unfulfilled. It creates this deep, almost palpable void inside him. And it's this emptiness, this yearning for connection despite his walls that the story is going to explore and eventually try to address.
Okay, so in the very same building, but like a universe away from Léon's silent, ordered life, we meet Mathilda Lando. She's 12 years old, played with just astonishing depth by Natalie Portman in her absolute breakthrough role.
Incredible debut.
It really was. And her family life, as our sources just grimly lay out, is the complete opposite of comforting or nurturing. It's painted as deeply troubled, abusive, toxic. It's a really stark, tragic background for her.
Yeah, you see her sort of observing everything, almost with this world weariness that's way beyond her years.
It is, and that makes you wonder, how does such a young person get so smart, streetwise, and emotionally mature beyond her years?
Right. And the source material gives us the grim, unflinching details. They're absolutely vital to understanding Mathilda's incredible resilience and what shaped her. Her father, for instance, isn't just flawed. He's dangerously tangled up, storing drugs for corrupt DEA
Oh,
agents.
wow.
Her stepmother is described as flat-out abusive and neglectful, just a source of cruelty. And tragically, her half-sister, instead of being, a companion, actively bullies her. It just compounds her isolation within her own home.
So absolute no safe harbor there.
Pretty much none. In this suffocating, hostile environment, the only consistent beacon of love, the only real human warmth in her life is her little brother, Benny.
Ah, Benny.
This background isn't just plot. It's crucial for understanding Mathilda's inner world. It explains her resilience, her quick wit, and her almost desperate primal need for a genuine connection. For someone, anyone, to be on her side.
You can really feel that desperation.
You can. Her environment has just brutally forced her to grow up way, way too quickly, robbed her of a normal childhood, exposed her to the absolute darkest parts of human behavior. You can almost physically sense her deep yearning for kindness, for just a moment of genuine care, unconditional acceptance.
And that's what she sees in Léon, in that brief encounter.
Exactly. It's this profound emotional need that she almost accidentally senses and then finds, or hopes to find, in Léon. And that really sets the stage for their incredibly improbable relationship. 2. The spark, catastrophe, and unlikely sanctuary.
So you have this fragile, uneasy sort of calm between Léon and Mathilda living in parallel, and then it's just violently, irrevocably shattered.
Yeah.
The corrupt DEA agents arrive, led by the utterly chilling Norman Stansfield. Gary Oldman's performance. It's just iconic, truly unforgettable.
And this is where the film's brutal violence just erupts. It transforms this quiet apartment building into a horrifying war zone. The sheer theatricality of his evil it's captivating,
Yeah.
but also terrifying.
It's utterly compelling how meticulously the film crafts Stansfield's villainy, and our source material really captures its essence. He's not just unpredictable and psychotic.
Right.
He embodies this unique, profoundly unsettling mix of high culture and extreme depravity. His habit of playing classical music, Beethoven specifically, and speaking with this eerie calmness before exploding into violence. That's what makes him so terrifyingly memorable.
The juxtaposition is chilling.
It is. A man who appreciates refined beauty but delights in inflicting maximum pain and chaos. It suggests this twisted intellect, maybe a perverse pleasure he gets from the destruction he causes. And his mannerisms are key too, right? The way he takes his pills, the twitching, the almost poetic monologue.
Oh, yeah, the pills. Creepy.
All of it contributes to his unsettling presence.
And the motive is just business,
Yeah.
essentially.
Disturbingly simple, yeah. Almost mundane in its bureaucratic cruelty. Mathilda's father is accused of skimming drugs, a relatively minor thing in the grand scheme, maybe. But Stansfield punishes it with just ultimate, disproportionate brutality.
And the outcome is devastating.
Completely. We see it happen with this terrifying efficiency. Stansfield executes the entire family, including Mathilda's beloved little brother, Benny.
Awful.
It's not just a plot point. It's the definitive turning point for Mathilda. It's so profoundly traumatic, it completely redefines her existence, strips away any last bit of childhood innocence, and transforms her grief into this unyielding, all-consuming drive for revenge. The sheer scale and coldness of it just underscore the depths of depravity she's been exposed to.
Okay, so picture this scene. Mathilda comes back from the store, sees the horrific massacre of her family unfolding inside her apartment from the hallway. Instead of panicking, instead of running, she shows this almost unnatural, preternatural calm. Grocery bag in hand, she walks past the horrific crime scene, not away, but directly to Leon's door.
It's an incredibly tense moment.
Yeah, full of unspoken questions.
And it prompts that critical question, why Leon's door? Specifically his, out of all the doors in that building.
Yeah, why him?
The source material notes their brief, almost incidental hallway connection. It highlights a rare kindness shown by Léon, maybe just a simple glance, a shared moment that set him apart from the indifferent world around her.
That tiny moment of acknowledgement.
Exactly. That fleeting act made him her only hope, her last desperate option, in a world that had just been utterly destroyed. And Leon's subsequent moment's hesitation before letting her in, that's absolutely pivotal for his character arc.
You could feel the weight of that pause.
Totally. For a man who lives by these strict, self-imposed rules, whose entire existence depends on staying detached, invisible, emotionally uninvested, opening that door to a stranger, especially a child in such profound distress, it fundamentally shatters his carefully constructed world of isolation.
It's life-saving for her, obviously.
Unquestionably, immediate life-saving sanctuary for Mathilda. But for Léon, it's the profound beginning of this internal shift, an unprecedented move that forces him, maybe against his deepest instincts, out of his solitary shell and into a responsibility he never asked for, but in that moment, can't escape.
The camera really focuses on his face there, doesn't it?
It does. The slow reveal of his decision emphasizes the weight of it. It's like a silent internal revolution for him, setting him on a path he could never have seen coming. 3. The bond. Mentorship, healing, and redefinition.
So once she's inside the supposed sanctuary of Leon's apartment, Mathilda very quickly figures out his true deadly profession.
Doesn't take long.
No. And what does a traumatized 12-year-old consumed by grief and this overwhelming need for vengeance do? She begs him, with this intensity and clarity that's just beyond her years, to teach her how to clean.
To be a hitman, yeah.
And to help her get revenge on Stansfield. Leon, predictably is deeply reluctant at first.
Understand.
But ultimately, driven by her sheer will, and maybe this burgeoning sense of responsibility, he eventually agrees to her desperate plea.
If we step back and look at the bigger picture here, this agreement, as morally fraught and complex as it obviously is, is really born out of this shared, desperate need. It's an incredibly unlikely pact. And while the idea of a seasoned hitman training a child in violence is, well, it's tangled in a whole web of ethical questions, right?
Definitely.
Within the film's narrative, it's presented as Mathilda's only perceived path to getting any sense of power or agency back in a world that just brutally stripped everything from her.
Right. Her only option, as she sees it.
Exactly. And Léon's agreement is profoundly significant for him. It's his first real, tangible act of emotional commitment that goes beyond just taking care of his plant.
He's stepping out.
He is. He's stepping out of his comfort zone, out of his meticulously maintained detachment, and into this role of protector and, maybe reluctantly at first, mentor. He teaches her the practical skills, how to shoot and stalk targets, gives her the tools she thinks she needs to confront the brutal reality of her new life. It's a transaction, sure, but it's one that starts to forge this unbreakable, if really unconventional, bond.
And the film doesn't really shy away from how problematic that training is, does it?
No, it doesn't. It uses it as a vehicle to explore these deeper themes of protection, connection, desperation.
Okay, so what's really striking then is that their relationship very quickly becomes much more than just teacher-student. It's not one-sided at all.
Not at all.
While Leon is teaching her the dangerous mechanics of his trade survival, shooting, efficiency, she, in turn, profoundly impacts his emotional landscape. She kind of pulls him, almost without him realizing it, out of that shell he built around himself.
Yeah.
So beyond the shooting lessons, how does Mathilda fundamentally change him, this disciplined, solitary guy?
Yeah. Well, the source material highlights this beautifully, this sort of reciprocal transformation. It emphasizes that she helps him read and opens his heart emotionally.
The reading scenes are great.
They are. For a man who's lived in such profound isolation, who likely deliberately avoided deep connections to survive his job, the simple act of learning to read, guided patiently by a child, it symbolizes this opening, not just of his mind to knowledge, but crucially, an opening of his soul.
Wow.
It's a re-engagement with the world of human connection, vulnerability, intellectual curiosity, a world he had long suppressed, maybe even forgotten how to access.
So their bond, the source says, walks a fine line between protector and protege, father figure and lost child.
Exactly. And yes, while the source mentions Mathilda's famous line, "I'm in love with you," and Léon's understandable discomfort and confusion.
Yeah, that's a tricky moment.
It is, and it undeniably sparks debate among viewers. But it's absolutely crucial to understand that the core of their bond is about emotional healing and trust. That's what the analysis emphasizes.
It's not romantic.
The film carefully navigates that sensitive dynamic. It consistently frames it not as romantic, but as something far deeper, more fundamental. a profound, almost primal human connection. It's about two lost souls, each deeply wounded and alone, finding this unexpected sense of belonging and purpose in each other.
Addressing that loneliness we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Their shared existence directly addresses their deep-seated loneliness, filling a void neither knew they could ever truly fill. Through Mathilda, Léon experiences empathy, learns to care for another human being on a level he never thought possible, and starts to shed that emotional armor he's worn for so long. She literally brings color and this chaotic vibrancy into his meticulously ordered, sterile life. 4. The Reckoning. Conflict and sacrifice.
Okay, so despite her training with Leon and his attempts to kind of temper her impulsive nature, Mathilda's raw rage, that desire for vengeance, it eventually just overtakes her judgment.
It boils over.
Yeah. Driven by this singular burning need, she makes a desperate, impulsive decision. Takes matters into her own hands, sneaks into DEA headquarters with a hidden gun, intending to kill Stansfield herself.
It's a moment of reckless bravery, but also profound naivete.
Definitely. And this prompts us to think, what does this desperate act really tell us about the nature of vengeance? Especially when it consumes someone so traumatized.
Yeah, it's a good question. Her impulsive act, while totally understandable given the unspeakable trauma she's been through, is undeniably reckless, but profoundly dangerous. She's caught almost immediately and nearly killed.
Right.
And that event vividly demonstrates the raw, uncompromising peril of the path she's chosen. It serves as this stark reminder that even with training, unchecked emotion, and a singular focus on retribution can lead to just catastrophic consequences.
And it's Leon, once again, who steps in.
Once again, guns blazing, rescues her from what would have been certain death. And this moment is critical. It unequivocally solidifies his transformation. He's no longer just a detached, emotionless cleaner. He is now a selfless, unwavering protector.
His survival is now completely linked to hers, isn't it?
Inextricably linked, yeah. Her fate has become his overriding concern, and the scene visually reinforces this shift, right? Léon moves with this desperate urgency. It's no longer just about professional survival. It's for the life of this child who has somehow just cracked his hardened exterior. The sheer force and speed of his intervention just highlight the depth of his commitment.
So with Mathilda's impulsive, almost fatal attempt on Stansfield, they are now undeniably targets, highly visible.
Big time.
Leon, with his professional instincts, he knows a full-scale confrontation with Stansfield and his corrupt forces isn't just possible anymore. It's absolutely inevitable.
No turning back.
Right. And this mounting pressure, this realization of their shared danger, it seems to culminate in Leon's most profound transformation. It solidifies his decision to protect Mathilda, no matter the cost.
Indeed. That immediate, overwhelming threat that Mathilda's actions bring down on them, it clarifies Léon's purpose in a way nothing else could have. Our source material says he begins to reflect on his life and his desire to protect Mathilda, finally feeling a sense of love and purpose.
Wow. It's huge for him.
It's the peak of his redemption arc. This character who started the film as almost emotionless, a solitary killer defined by brutal efficiency. His commitment to Mathilda is no longer just about, a deal or even simple self-preservation. It's about a profound, selfless love that truly gives his previously empty life meaning. Every single action he takes from this point forward is for her future.
He's not fighting for himself anymore.
Not at all. He prepares for the fight not for his own sake, not for his survival as a cleaner. No, he prepares for her future, for the possibility that she might have a life beyond the violence and despair that has, until now, defined both of their lives. His willingness to sacrifice himself for her, it becomes this conscious decision, increasingly clear in his actions. It's the ultimate expression of this newfound love and purpose.
You see it in his eyes and how he handles his weapons. It's different.
Exactly. His quiet resolve, the way he meticulously cleans his weapons, not just for the kill, but for the act of protection. It speaks volumes about that internal shift.
And so the inevitable arrives with chilling precision. Stansfield, using his full DEA resources, total disregard for civilian life, launches a full-blown SWAT raid on Leon's apartment. What follows is this long, violent standoff. It pushes Leon to his absolute physical and emotional limits. He's fighting not for himself, but for a future for Mathilda. The intensity of this scene, visually, audibly, it's immense.
It really is. And Léon's actions in this climax are truly a masterclass in his brutal precision. It showcases the lethal efficiency he's honed over years, but now it's wielded for this unambiguously noble purpose.
Right.
He fights off multiple attackers with calculated deadly force, uses his environment, his training, with this almost artistic grace. But his singular, unwavering focus is always on Mathilda's safety. He manages to sneak her out through a ventilation shaft.
That narrow, dark passage.
Yeah, it symbolizes both escape and maybe rebirth. He promises her safety with this profound, unspoken vow that he fully intends to keep.
And then his own escape attempt, the disguise.
Ah, yes. His desperate attempt to escape the building himself, he puts on a SWAT uniform.
That's deeply symbolic, isn't it? He's literally trying to shed his identity, disappear into the crowd, sever ties with his past life as a cleaner, all to secure Mathilda's future.
But his past catches up to him in the form of Stansfield.
Inevitably, Stansfield ambushes him in a hallway. And as Léon lies dying in this final, defiant act of love and ultimate vengeance, he presses a pin into Stansfield's hand, the grenade pin.
And delivers those poignant, unforgettable final words. This is from Mathilda. It's the pin from a grenade, a silent promise kept, a final act of protection, and a last devastating blow. Moments later, a massive explosion kills them both.
Wow.
This isn't just revenge, though it serves that purpose for Mathilda. It's a profound, selfless sacrifice that ensures Mathilda's ultimate freedom from the direct cycle of violence. By taking Stansfield with him, Léon fulfills her desire for vengeance while also, crucially, breaking her from the need to carry it out herself. It gives her that chance for a new life, unburdened by that destructive imperative.
The sound design there, too. The
Yeah.
sudden explosion just amplifies the finality.
Absolutely. It's a shattering end to that chapter, the aftermath, new beginnings, and enduring legacy.
Okay, so after the smoke clears, the dust settles from that incredible explosive climax. Mathilda is now truly alone. She seeks out Tony, Léon's mob connection, asking for Léon's savings, his hard-earned money. But the path to a new life, as we kind of quickly learn from their interaction, isn't entirely clear. It hints at, well, lingering shadows.
Yeah, Tony's refusal to just hand over the money, him saying he'll keep it safe for her, that's a subtle but incredibly significant detail. You shouldn't overlook it.
Right. What does it signify?
It explicitly shows how he's subtly asserting control like he did with Léon. It hints that Mathilda, despite the monumental sacrifice Léon made for her freedom, is still vulnerable. She could easily fall into a similar pattern of dependency or even exploitation within that criminal underworld.
He just gives her a bit of cash, right?
Yeah, a meager amount compared to what Léon probably earned. Sends her away, basically washing his hands of her immediate future while keeping a hold on her potential resources. This interaction really underscores that while Léon broke one cycle, the cycle of violence and vengeance Mathilda is left to navigate a world that's still dangerous. It still holds elements of the control and manipulation that define Léon's own life.
So true freedom requires more than just getting rid of Stansfield.
Exactly. It's a sobering reminder that breaking free of one devastating cycle doesn't immediately eliminate all threats or difficult choices.
Okay, but the film culminates in this deeply symbolic, incredibly moving final scene.
The planting scene.
Yeah. Mathilda returns to her school, a place of innocence, potential growth, and there she carefully plants Léon's beloved potted plant in the ground outside. It's such a quiet, reflective moment, but it speaks volumes.
It really does, and it prompts that overarching question. What does this simple act, planting this pot-bound houseplant, actually mean for Mathilda and for the film's enduring message?
Yeah.
That plant was more than just a prop, right? It was Léon's constant companion, literally his only friend. A powerful symbol of his solitary existence, his desire for roots and stability even in a life of transient violence. It represented his contained, isolated world.
Right, kept inside, like him.
Exactly. By carefully planting it in the earth, Mathilda is performing this act of profound transformation. She's not only honoring Léon's memory, solidifying his indelible impact on her, but she is fundamentally transforming its meaning. It's no longer confined to the shadows of an apartment, root-bound, limited. It's given space to grow freely, become part of the living, expansive world. And this mirrors Mathilda's own newfound freedom.
So just as the plant can thrive now.
Just as the plant now has the chance to thrive in the open earth, Mathilda finally has the chance to live a real life. unburdened by immediate vengeance, with the potential for genuine growth. Her simple yet incredibly powerful statement spoken with this quiet conviction as she pats the earth.
I think we'll be okay here, Leon.
Yeah, that signifies acceptance of her traumatic past, a profound step towards emotional healing, and this resilient, almost defiant sense of hope for a future defined by growth, not by violence or revenge.
The visuals reinforce that too, don't they? The wider shots, brighter light.
Absolutely. The cinematography in that scene, wider shots, brighter lighting, it contrasts sharply with the claustrophobic interiors of Leon's apartment. It visually reinforces this theme of liberation, new beginnings. It's a powerful image of moving forward, choosing life over death.
So the deep dive, at its core, it's about exploring these nuggets of knowledge, insight within the sources. And this film, Léon, the professional, is just incredibly rich with them.
So rich.
Beyond the thrilling action, the intense drama, it delves into these universal themes that really truly resonate decades later. It's far more than just a genre film.
Absolutely. When we connect this to the bigger picture, the film's narrative weaves together several powerful, intertwined themes that contribute profoundly to its lasting impact. Why it remains so compelling.
Okay, let's unpack those themes.
First, there's the profound exploration of loneliness and connection. Both Léon and Mathilda start the film as profoundly, emotionally lost and isolated individuals, adrift in their own painful realities.
Léon in his routine, Mathilda in her abusive home.
Exactly. Their unlikely bond, however unconventional or even controversial it might seem, it ultimately provides them both with a sense of belonging and purpose. We see it in moments like Mathilda teaching Léon to read, sharing meals, Léon cleaning her wounds. These small acts show that even the most fractured, damaged individuals can find profound healing and meaning in genuine human connection, transcending their solitary lives. The film suggests true life isn't in isolation, but in vulnerability, interdependence.
Okay, what else?
Second, the film relentlessly examines the tension between innocence versus violence. It starkly contrasts Mathilda's inherent childlike innocence with the brutal, pervasive violence engulfing her life. She's tragically caught in this horrifying limbo between her past trauma and this consuming desire for vengeance.
And Léon.
Léon, in turn, finds his ultimate redemption precisely through protecting that very innocence. Seeing in Mathilda may be a reflection of what he lost or never had the chance to cultivate in himself. The film visually emphasizes this Mathilda's youth against these dark, violent urban landscapes, forces us to confront the defilement of innocence.
Then there's the revenge cycle.
Third, and crucially, Léon tackles the devastating cycle of revenge. Mathilda's initial fervent desire for revenge nearly gets her killed. It vividly shows how destructive, how self-defeating that path can be, no matter how justified the anger feels.
Right.
Léon's ultimate sacrifice at the climax isn't just an act of love, it's a deliberate, profound breaking of that destructive cycle. By taking on Stansfield himself, and crucially taking him with him, he offers Mathilda a chance to live a real life, free from the crushing burden of enacting vengeance herself. This final act ensures she can move forward without carrying that corrosive weight. It offers true liberation from the chains of retribution.
That's a key takeaway. And
And finally, the film brilliantly dissects moral complexity. It powerfully challenges simplistic black and white notions of good and evil. Léon is undeniably a killer, a professional assassin taking lives for money, yet he's portrayed with such warmth, quiet dignity, undeniable humanity.
you feel for.
You do. His precise movements, care for his plant, gentle interactions with Mathilda, they create this profound warmth. In stark contrast, Stansfield, ostensibly a law enforcer, a DEA agent sworn to uphold justice. He's the absolute embodiment of chaos, corruption, pure theatrical evil.
Total inversion.
Yeah. This compelling inversion forces you, the viewer, to question who the true monster is. Where does real morality, genuine goodness lie in a world of complex, often morally ambiguous shades of gray? The film makes us look beyond labels into the heart of human actions.
It's no surprise then that Léon, the professional, quickly became this bona fide cult classic, an enduring piece of cinema.
Absolutely.
Its legacy, as we've discussed, is undeniable. It continues to captivate, provoke thought years later. Its raw emotional power, stylistic brilliance, they've cemented its place.
It's rightly praised for so many reasons that cemented its place in cinematic history. Why it's still discussed, analyzed today. At the forefront, those extraordinary performances.
Definitely.
Jean Reno's quiet, soulful performance as Léon conveyed so much without words, embodied the internal conflict, the burgeoning humanity, with just subtle glances, movements, then Natalie Portman's breakthrough debut. Just astounding. She showed extraordinary emotional range at such a young age, holding her own with incredible intensity against seasoned actors.
Incredible maturity.
And of course, Gary Oldman's iconic villain, Stansfield, equal parts theatrical and terrifying, delivered a performance that's just etched in viewers' minds. A true masterclass in villainy.
Beyond the actors.
Luc Besson's stylized direction, it masterfully blended action with emotional depth, creating this unique, visually arresting cinematic experience. Felt both gritty and deeply personal.
The score, too. Eric Serria's score is haunting.
Absolutely. How it subtly underscores Léon's solitude with melancholic melodies, swells during moments of unexpected tenderness, then builds crushing tension during action scenes with discordant notes. Visually, Besson uses wide shots to emphasize Léon's isolation, or incredibly tight close-ups to capture the raw emotion in Portman's eyes.
That contrast, again, between the dark apartment and the final scene.
Yeah, the dark, cramped interiors symbolizing his containment versus the final scene with the plant in the open, sunlit earth signaling her liberation. And despite some controversy surrounding its portrayal of Léon and Mathilda's relationship, which has certainly sparked debate, the film endures as a powerful tale of found family, redemption, and sacrifice. Its enduring artistic strength, profound thematic resonance make it a timeless classic.
So what does this all mean for us as we kind of absorb these insights, our deep dive into Léon? The Professional reveals a story far richer than just a simple action flick.
Much richer.
It's a profound testament to the transformative power of unexpected human connection, the profound, often hidden cost of vengeance, and the surprising possibility of redemption found in the most unlikely places, even for those who walk in the shadows.
Yeah, and when we connect this to the bigger picture, it really prompts us to consider, how does a film so steeped in brutal violence manage to be so deeply affecting in its portrayal of love and sacrifice? What are those creative choices that allow such seemingly disparate elements to coexist so powerfully?
Right.
And what stands out to you most about this deep dive? Perhaps it's that enduring idea that even the most damaged, isolated individuals can find genuine purpose, profound meaning in protecting another. And that maybe true freedom comes not from exacting revenge, but from finding the strength to break its destructive cycle and choose a path of growth instead.
That's a powerful thought. So as you reflect on Léon and Mathilda's complex, ultimately heartbreaking journey, consider this. In a world that's often full of pain and betrayal, where do you choose to plant your metaphorical potted plant to signify hope, healing, and the promise of a new beginning?